Hey, what is up guys? So I'm going to be showing you guys a replay of me playing kaijus. We actually broke DevPro doing this because there is a condition where you can only control one kaiju. But it's still a pretty good duel, and it's going to show you guys the basic concepts of kaijus. Now my opponent is playing a really nasty Pendulum deck that runs Apex Avian. It's a really consistent deck, and basically you can lock your opponent out of playing because you keep on just summoning Apex over and over because you're going to tribute it. Now one thing I want to mention with the Waterfront is that it really doesn't get that much counters when your opponent is playing a Pendulum deck. Of course, you know, they activate cards to search for something like that. That is an option. And like this card is just way too strong. I feel like this is what makes kaiju so good. Now, there is only 2 kaiju monsters at the moment. Of course, that can change in the future. Now, I built this deck to basically run no monsters that are actually good. Well, I mean, of course, I'm going to be tributing my opponent's stuff. I'm running a remove brainwashing, basically a snatch steal deck. Like everything in my deck basically steals my opponent's stuff, whether I'm tributing them so I can get my monsters out on the field, and I'm like, oh, remove brainwashing so I get them back. Or just other different ways to just basically take my opponent's stuff. So I mixed Gradles and the kaijus, because kaijus, as of right now, they only have 2 monsters. One thing that I've noticed against kaijus is you can just OTK them. You can just not put anything on the field, and then you can wait to OTK. So I kind of combated that with Swift Scarecrow as well as Battle Fader, because I want them to think I'm playing Stall in the very beginning. Well, that was the essential concept of the deck, was to pretend I'm playing Stall with like Wabuku's Threatenings and Swift Scarecrow, so they were just wanting to OTK, and then I just tribute everything that they have for my monsters, and I get them all back with the Owner's Seal, the Lava Golem, all that other great stuff. Now, I want to mention that your opponent can use the effect of the kaiju cards, because when you give them a kaiju card, they can go ahead and get rid of stuff from your own counters. But you see, I'm able to stall over here, and I ended up drawing a Volcanic Queen. I'm actually able to use Waterfront, and what makes Waterfront so good is you remove 3 counters from the card, and then you get to go ahead, or actually, I'm sorry, you don't even remove 3 counters. This effect does remove 3 counters, but for the most part, you don't even remove counters. You can see right now, he had an amazing field, and I came back by just being like, okay, search the card for free. You don't even remove the counters when you search. You only remove the counters for an effect. You can see he has Soul Charge over here, and that's pretty nasty to run into, but Owner Seal is a fantastic card. I had to get rid of this card, which was the Mechanical Hound, before really doing anything with Owner Seal, because Mechanical Hound has the effect that while you have no cards in your hand, your opponent cannot activate spell cards. And here's where the duel errors out over here. It's kind of irrelevant because it's already over at this point anyways. But the main concept that I was here to show off was just how good kaijus can be. Like, this card is amazing. You saw that he had a Big Eye, he had a Draco Sack, and then bam, he lost everything because the card, the Mad Flame Kaiju, is able to pop everything. And again, this counts. And look, I already have 5. I have 5 counters right on it again. But yeah, the Mechanical Hound made it so I couldn't use any spells as long as the person that has Mechanical Hound has no cards in their hand. If you're playing a Pendulum deck, that's relatively simple, just to have no cards in your hand. But the error is out because what happens is I activated Owner Sealed so I can steal my Sticky String, aka the Spider Kaiju, and I was going to be taking this. And the reason why I know that you can only control 1 kaiju, but I prefer having this because this could actually negate his effects, and then monsters can't attack if I activate the effect of the spider. So this one blows up the field. Well, it removes 3 counters, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Very good effect. It can't attack during the turn you activate this effect, but nonetheless, it's still pretty good. The spider, however, has a really insane effect. You can activate Spider's effect as many times as you want per turn, which makes it absolutely crazy. So anyways, his effect is that you can remove 2 kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, and until the end of the turn, you activate it whenever your opponent special summons a monster or monster, so that includes pendulums, and then you remove 2 counters from anywhere on the field. Usually it's through this, unless there's more, other ways to do it later on. You negate those monsters' effects, and they can't attack. So not only if he made Big Eye, or if he made like 1-on-1, he wouldn't be able to use it, and it couldn't attack anyway. So even though that, like, let's say this could attack over this, he wasn't going to be able to do anything anyways. And then from there, I would hopefully eventually been able to get rid of his stuff. He did happen to have Bottomless, but my monster was technically already out. So what happened in this error, so I'm going to explain the error right now, so I can send this to Catherine. Catherine can hopefully help us out with it. But since you can only control 1 kaiju, Owner Sealed has to return this card to me, but I can only control 1, so it tries to give it back to him, and then what happens is it keeps on going back and forth, and it infinitely loops, and it shows that the replay ended because the guy just was like, okay, you win, because like it was pretty, well, he had bottoms, but again, I already have my stuff, and from here I could just summon anything, attack over this, and then we would have a game right here. But Anyways, oh, I also have this effect, which is like it's another effect that is technically here. That it's once per turn you can send what other card you control to the graveyard, and you get to inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. So I'd be able to do that, and the next turn, obviously, well, he might attack me. I don't know. It all came down to I would say I pretty much had it, but I mean, you never know what people can draw in Yu-Gi-Oh. But nonetheless, yeah, what happens with this is that with Owner Seal and Kaiju on DevPro right now, it was giving my opponent the spider, then it gave me back the spider because of Owner Seal, then it gave it back to him, then it gave it back to me because I can only control one Kaiju, so it gave it back to him, and it just infinitely looped it, and yeah, that caused a problem. I don't think it would cause a problem in real life. I would assume that it would ask you which one you would want to keep, but I know I have really no idea. So if anyone knows what would actually happen, or what you would think would happen, I guess let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, it will cause DevPro to infinitely give it back and forth until the game crashes. Well, it doesn't really crash the game, it just makes it so it goes in an infinite loop. And since, you know, both players aren't actually making a move, it will still continuously go on. It's not like the turn will end, it'll just continuously go on forever. So that's the error, and it also shows you guys how good Kaijus can be, because this is a really nasty deck. If anyone has played against this deck and getting it, like, you know, relatively fast, which my opponent did do, it's very difficult to combat, but I love how Kaijus, they break some of those setups, like where it's like Dark Law and the Cyber Dragon Infinity. You just be like, oh, tribute your stuff, man, no problem. Pretty cool archetype. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Azneyes out.